Hi dear viewers, this is Arash Kamoli with another session of the website programming course on the Python programming language and the Django framework. Again, as always, a very warm welcome from me. In the previous session, we completed the permissions for the user. Now we can give it a permission or take it from him. In this section, we are going to work with the groups. Here we added the groups. Let's give permissions to our groups or remove them for him. The same technique that we used, that is the same method that we use for receiving permissions in a group and then listed them, can be used to see if a certain group has a certain permission or not. Alright, first I need to make the edit button to enter a similar page where I can see the current permissions and add to them or delete them. Okay, at first we make the page here. Okay, I make a function. Let's see, for showing the list. For instance, I make a copy from this function and call it, let's see, group perms. Okay, and here instead of pk I get a name. I get the name of the group so that I can use it easily, the name of the group, and we copy the available codes. The name of my page would be groups perms. I make a copy from it to make a page. We don't send anything yet, not yet. I make the template. Okay, that's for the template. Now I need to make the URL. Okay, I say manager add perm to group, and instead of pk, what should it get? It needs to get the name, and using data star it needs to connect to groups perms with the name groups perms. That's it. And now we go to the groups page, users group. Okay, let's check if it's okay. No, it is the users group. In the main groups page, manager group, the page needs to be set up. Over here I change the edit button to perms. Now I check if it is the same page. Yeah, it is perms. Okay, now over here I set a link to which function should it connect. Should connect to groups perms. Okay, and it needs to send cc.name. This is not edit now, it is perms. Okay, when we hit perms it sends the name to our groups perms function. Okay, in the groups perms, this is our blank HTML page. You would be directed to a blank page such as what you noticed, and we need to define what we want to do and make the page. At first we make a similar page to this one. So first we say this page and arrange the page. We call it, what do we call it? Groups permissions. Okay, groups permissions, and now the link would be panel manager, but if we set the link like this, it would give an error, so we remove it. It needs a little bit of editing. You can do that on your own. It's going to take some time, so we're not going through that. Here we have the name, that is, we need to give it a name. The functions need to be separate, and we need to send it to manager group. That's better. Okay, it needs to go to the manager group, and then groups perms, and over here groups permissions list. Okay, at first the group that we chose, and set it on this page. For instance, here in the groups I choose a test on this page. The first thing we want to do is to list the permissions of that group. Okay, in order to show the permissions of the groups, first I need to find the group based on the name that I am receiving. For instance, group, the name of the variable group, this is my model, group.objects. Okay, dot get dot name equals name, and let's see what do we have here. Perms equals group dot permissions dot all. It gets all the permissions of the group and sends them to perms, and we send perms to template thereafter. And then here in the groups perms, instead of groups we say perms. Now we refresh this page. Okay, an error occurred. Let's see why it did. Okay, which part is erroneous? Return, yeah. Okay, here it is perms. Let's refresh again. Alright, now first, in order to test it, I give some permissions to my group. For instance, to test, I give test 2 and 3. Refresh the page. As you see, test 2 and 3 are added and have been shown to me. That means now I will be able to see the list of the permissions. Okay, that's the list of the permissions. First we list the permissions to see them and be able to check them on our page and see which permissions are available on our groups. And here in this HTML we need only the delete button now. We won't be needing the perms. Now in the next steps we are going to add these permissions on our own panel or remove them. So we have 2 more sections to deal with. One is to add the permissions or remove them on our admin, and on the next level, which consists of 2 subcategories, the permissions that we have made, we need to be able to give them to the user. We need to be able to check these permissions both on template and the view. Now the test groups have been made and its permissions are test 1 and 3. In the follow-up we are going to work with add and remove permission buttons.